I contracted YRC to ship 2 snowmobiles that were valued at $25,000 from South Dakota to Nevada. One of the machines was severely damaged in transit. I declined delivery of the machine, and YRC returned it back to the dealer in South Dakota to be repaired. I paid over $4,100 for the repairs. Instead of paying for the damage caused by YRC, they sent me a settlement figure of $1,600, which I refused. That is poor business practice and speaks to their lack of integrity. We have sent letters to all levels of customer service with no satisfaction. They only claim partial responsibility. So I urge anyone that's going to do business with them to not do so. The management and customer service are very unprofessional. Okay, on December 3rd of 2020, I contracted with Yrc Freight to ship a couple of snowmobiles from South Dakota. A friend of mine and I we each purchased a snowmobile from Track to Trail, which is a retailer in South Dakota. I went ahead and contracted to have both of those machines shipped out on December 4th, basically, and so I think I did the actual web contact, I guess, on the 3rd, and then I finalized it, I guess, on the 4th, and they shipped the 2 machines out. They arrived on the 16th, and I got a phone call from the dock in Sparks, Nevada, that they had arrived, but one was damaged, and the dock person that I was speaking to, her name was Liz Vigrabs. I have our communication was via text and phone calls, and I have saved those, so I have the text messages on my phone. I don't know how to get them from my phone to a document, but she contacted me and told me that the machines were there, that one was damaged, and she sent me several pictures of the machines, of the one that was damaged, and she profusely apologized for the damage. I told her that I couldn't make any decisions on, she wanted to know what I should do, or what I wanted them to do. And I said, well, I need to come and see it. So I took a trip to Reno, which is an hour drive for me, and picked up the one machine that wasn't damaged. And I told them I wouldn't sign for a damaged machine. So she said, what would you like me to do? And I said, I'd like you to fix the machine and get it back to me. That's what I paid for. And she said she would see what she could do. So she said she would have to go up the ladder and get authorization to ship the machine back to South Dakota, because I did not sign for it. And so she managed to get it shipped back. It was shipped back, I think the following week it was shipped back. I got a message from her, I think it was, I want to say, it was leaving tonight, she says, on Thursday, December 17th. They arrived. It arrived a couple of days later, and then I asked her. She told me that I would have to file a claim against YRC for the damages. I told her, why should I have to file a claim? I didn't do the damage. Why wouldn't YRC file the claim? She said, well, they could. And I said, okay, well, why don't you have them do it? And she checked with her people, and she said, no, that's our policy is you have to file the claim. And so I proceeded to do that, but until I could not finalize the claim until I knew what the cost of the damages were. and I was contacted by Tractor Trail on the 14th of January with a cost repair of $43.28 to repair a $12,000 machine, and I told them to go ahead and do it because they needed authorization, but I had to pay for that repair because I'm the one that YRC wouldn't pay for it directly. I had to pay for that, so I paid it out of pocket in order for Tractor Trail to release the machine. And once they had to get the parts, they had to order them from the manufacturer and get the parts and put them all in, and then they submitted me a new basically a repair invoice, which was a couple $100 less at $41.20.55. And so anyway, I had submitted the repair quote to YRC, and on the 19th, they have a claims department that basically handles this, and they sent me back a settlement letter that they would settle and pay me $1,615 for the repair instead of the $41.20. I was just amazed at this, and I told them, well, they said that I had to sign the form, which meant that I accepted the settlement. I did not do that because I was not going to settle for less than what the repairs were quoted. And so that's where it stands. It's done. Doug, who's the owner of the machine that actually got damaged, he and I have split the $4,300 at this point between us. So we're both out a couple $1,000 for the repairs. We have written letters to every level up to the owners of the company, and the last letter was sent out a week ago to the upper echelon, and we've had no response at all from them. The different levels that we contacted that went above, which was customer support, they basically said, this is our policy, this is how we do things. We're not going to change our policy to accommodate you. And basically what they reference is that on their cargo, what is it called? It's transactional quote confirmation. On the very bottom of it, it says all shipments will move to NMFC domestic bill of lading, release value commodities found with YRC tariff 301 will move at the lowest release value based on the choice of rates. Carrier's liability will not exceed $2 per pound per package, subject to a maximum liability of $20,000 per shipment or actual value, whichever is lower. Now, if you understand that, that's great. I don't understand it. I saw $20,000 and I thought, okay, well, fine, we're covered, no big deal. Well, they're basing that $1,615 is basically their figure based on 650 pounds of weight. So they're giving us $2 a pound. Basically, that's what they're telling us. And so anyway, that's where we stand. I'm just really upset. I'm a business owner. If I ever destroyed somebody's property, I would have to pay for it in full. I've never heard of a company being partially liable for damages to somebody else's property. And so that's why I filed the claim. I have pictures and documentation for all of this, and I do have they call it a signature card that you have to sign for when you pick something up, and I have one for my machine, which I did sign, and I have one for Doug's machine, which I did not sign, which is the machine that went back. And when I paid Tractor Trail, I had to arrange for YRC to pick it up. They were not going to ship it back out. Liz, who I had been in constant contact with on this during this whole thing up until about a month ago, she stopped returning my calls because apparently somebody told her, probably told her that she shouldn't be talking to me anymore. But she said she was really surprised that they wouldn't be responsible. I have her, she said she'd call me, and she did. Sorry, I have been calling and emailing Brandy, who is the claims rep that first offered the $1,600, and she could not get a hold of her. And then finally, when she did get a hold of her, she actually went above her and talked to her boss, and he said that he would get back to us. So then they gave me a different person to call, another person at a higher level, whose name was Brent Daughtry, who we called him. We sent him a letter, and he basically confirmed the same liability issues, and that they were not going to pay anymore. So anyway, and after Brent, Liz stopped, after Brent's communication with me and Doug, actually Brent never returned any of my calls or any of my emails. He only called, he actually returned Doug's email, but he said there was nothing he could do. And so that's why we've gone up the chain and got no response and no satisfaction from anyone. So, well, to let anyone else who does business with YRC, buyer beware. Their customer service is terrible, and nobody should be taken advantage of like this. So that's the main reason. Obviously, we're not gonna. They're not. I mean, they're a huge international company, and we're just two guys that had a damaged snowmobile. You know, so it's pretty obvious that we don't mean anything to them. So we want to let people know that if you're in a situation like us, don't do business with